All right, we're looking at the Coolpix L110 from Nikon. This is a very, very cool little camera. Not only does it feature a 12 megapixel sensor, 4-way image stabilization, a very high 6400 ISO, but it's got an absolutely incredible 15x zoom. Let me show it to you. I'm going to turn it on. Check out this lens. It's a Nikkor ED lens. 35 millimeter equivalent is 28 to 420 millimeters. So you can go from extremely wide, where you can see everything around you, all the way to 420 millimeters, which is a huge, huge zoom. It also has a macro shooting ability. So as you can imagine, let's say that this is your subject, and you were shooting it in regular mode. You actually have to be about 20 inches away for the camera to actually focus on that subject. But if you throw it into macro mode, you can actually get 0.4 inches away, which is about that far, and it will actually record in detail, and it will focus on the detail of your subject. So that's very, very cool. It also has 5-way image stabilization. I can actually probably illustrate that. I'm going to go really wide. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the camera on my face. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You're going to see that my chin is at the bottom, my head is at the top, and I'm going to shake the camera. You're going to see that the camera doesn't shake. The image doesn't shake, even though I'm shaking the camera. So very cool. It has 4-way image stabilization. So you're used to maybe 1 or 2 different ways, but this has 4. And I'll go through those individually. Now, first of all, is the optical image stabilization. Basically, you have the sensor is right in here. Imagine the sensor being right in there, and it's parallel to the lens. If you're tilting it like this, what happens is that sensor inside is actually tilting back and forth to make sure that you don't get blurry images. And that's just one of the 4 ways that this camera actually shoots image stabilization. Another way is electronic, which is a chip inside that's going to process the image and take out the blur. Another one is motion detection. Basically, when the camera understands that either your camera or your subject are moving and there is motion in the camera, it's going to automatically crank up the shutter speed, and it's going to crank up the ISO to give you that sharper, clearer image. Now, the ISO on this camera goes up to 6400, which is extremely high as far as ISO goes, and that's going to give you some really, really crisp pictures when you're shooting in low light. Now, you are going to get a dirtier image. It's going to have more noise, but this camera does have a dual pass noise reduction system in it, so it's very good at that. Another cool feature for taking the sharp photos with this camera is the BSS, or the Best Shot Selector. Basically, it's going to take 10 shots continuously and pick the sharpest out of those 10. That's a very, very cool feature. Now, let's go for a quick tour. I'm going to show you where everything is on this camera. First thing you'll notice is that right up here at the top, you do have left and right microphones. So you do have stereo mics, and that is because this camera does shoot 720p video. It even has a dedicated video shooting button right here. If you want to shoot video, no matter where you are, if you're in a menu or if you're taking photos, if you push that button, it's going to start recording video, and you do get that stereo audio to go along with your full 720p HD video. Right here is the on-off button. When it's blinking there, you know it's actually resting. It's in sleep mode, so saves you a little bit of battery. Your zoom, whether you want to go wide or if you want to go tele, is right there. On the back, several buttons. First of all, is your flash indicator right there. Lets you know that your flash is ready to go. It's fully charged. This is the record video button. This is to go into your scene selector or to go into camera mode. This is to go into playback, turn your flashes off, set timers, plus and minus exposure compensation to go into macro mode. This goes into your menu, and this is a dedicated delete button, which is pretty cool. Next, we'll go over here. There are a couple things going on over here. I'm going to go ahead and open up this little tab right here. First of all, you're going to notice that you do have an HDMI port right there, so if you want to hook this up to an HD TV, you can do that. If you want to pull photos off of it, you can use this USB 2.0 port, or if you want, you can use that USB 2.0 port with this provided composite cable to basically stream this out to a TV. So you're going to plug this in here. This is going to go out to a monitor, and you can look at the images as you shoot them, or you can review them. Also included in the box is the USB cable. So again, it's the same thing, same plug. You're going to plug it in there. You can take the images off of here. You can browse through them. You can do a whole bunch of things. And that's just what's on this side. Now, moving to the other side, there's some other stuff going on here. You do have a dedicated power. So these are lithium-ion rechargeable batteries, and you can actually charge them by plugging it in there, or you can just run off of ground battery, off of the power cord. What's really cool about this camera is that even though it only uses 4 AA lithium-ion batteries, it's going to give you 840 images per charge, or it's going to give you a full 7 hours of 720p HD video. So that's a lot of video. And finally, let's talk a little bit about some of the in-camera like kind of like the special functions, let's say, the things that are you're not going to find on normal cameras, and I'll go over those individually. The first one I'm going to tell you about is the in-camera post, which is basically a couple options that you can do on the camera once you've already taken the photo. Basically, you can do red eye removal, which is pretty cool. You can also do a smoothing of skin tones. So if you took a portrait of somebody and you want to smooth out their skin tones, even everything out, maybe reduce some skin imperfections so you can't see them, you can do that as well. So those are the two most common that you're going to be using is, the soft skin and the red eye removal. But there's even more. There's a continuous mode where you hold the shutter down. It's going to keep taking shots of something that's moving continuously. Now, it doesn't do that very fast like a big professional SLR camera does, but it does have a really cool feature called Sports Continuous. What it does then is that it actually takes a lower resolution image, but it does take 120 frames per second, which is very intense. So you're going to get lots of little tiny pictures, but you're going to get all that action that's happening. So if, let's say, somebody was hitting a baseball, you're going to get an image of each part of the swing as the baseball hits the bat and how the bat, takes off and the ball takes off and et cetera, et cetera. So those are also pretty cool features. And that's basically it. Very nice camera, tons of features. It's not too big. It's not too small. It's got a little bit more because it does shoot 720p video. It does have a 12 megapixel sensor, a very high ISO, so it's a little bit more powerful than, let's say, a really small point and shoot. But as you can see, it's not a huge camera. It's definitely not as big as an SLR. It will fit in a purse, in a bag, and it actually fits really nice in your hand, very easy to use. So there you have it, very nice. It's the Coolpix L110 from Nikon. If you have any questions on it, feel free to email me, and I'll see you guys next time. For more information on the Nikon Coolpix L110 digital camera, type in N13-4688 into any major search engine.
Yeah.